Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
I was just a kid with a snow shovel trying to make some money after a big snowstorm hit our neighborhood. I figured I could go around and offer to clear people's driveways for $5 each. It seemed like a good deal to me, and most folks agreed. I started early in the morning, knocking on doors and asking if anyone wanted their driveway cleared. Most people were happy to see me and gladly paid the $5, and I felt pretty good about myself, like I was helping out and earning some cash at the same time. One house I went to had a person with multiple sclerosis living there. They were super grateful when I offered to shovel their driveway. "Hi there. Would you like me to shovel your driveway for $5? The person with multiple sclerosis, "Oh yeah, that would be great. I can't do it myself and it's been worrying me all morning. Thank you so much." I felt extra good about helping them out. It was nice to know I was making a difference, even if it was just clearing some snow. As I worked my way down the street, I came to the last house with a snow-covered driveway. A boy about my age answered the door when I knocked. "Hey, want me to shovel your driveway for $5? "No way, that's too much. I'll give you a quarter." I was kinda shocked. A quarter? That's like nothing. But then I thought about it for a second. This kid probably got told to shovel the driveway himself and was trying to get out of it cheap. I didn't have any other driveways left to do, so I decided to take his deal. I figured his mom would be mad if she came home and the driveway wasn't done. I say, "Okay, fine. Give me the quarter first, though." He handed me over the coin and I got to work. But let me tell you, for a quarter, I wasn't exactly breaking my back out there. I took my sweet time making sure every little bit of snow was perfectly cleared. I mean, I was doing a good job, but I was going as slow as I possibly could. Every now and then, the boy would yell at me from the front door. "Hey, hurry up. What's taking so long?" "I'm getting there. Don't rush me." I'd just shrug and keep going at my pace. I kept thinking to myself, "You paid me a quarter, buddy. This is what a quarter's worth of work looks like." I was almost done with the driveway when a car pulled up. A woman got out looking really angry. She stormed up to me, her face all red and stuff. "What do you think you're doing? Why are you shuffling this driveway? I told my son to do this." "Oh, hi. Your son hired me to shovel the driveway for him. He paid me a quarter to do it." The mom's face got even redder if that was possible. She turned to look at the house where her son was peeking out the window. "He what?" She dug into her purse and pulled out a $5 bill, shoving it into my hand. "Here, this is what you should have been paid. I'm so sorry about this." Then she stormed into the house. I could hear her yelling at her son as the door slammed shut. "Young man, you're in so much trouble. I can't believe you tried to pay someone a quarter to do your chores." I finished up the last bit of the driveway, feeling pretty good about how things turned out. I had made more money than I expected, and that kid learned a lesson about trying to cheat people. As I walked home, I started thinking about all the candy I could buy with my earnings. I mean, that's what any kid would do with some extra cash, right? I had worked hard all day and now I was going to treat myself. I headed to the corner store, my pockets jingling with coins and crumbled bills. The bell on a door dinged as I walked in and I made a beeline for the candy aisle. It was like heaven, all those colorful wrappers in different shapes, and I took my time picking out all my favorites. When I got home, the snow outside my window was still falling lightly, promising more work for tomorrow. But I didn't mind. Hey, if it meant more candy in the end, I was all for it. When my friends and I decided to hang out at the local park, there were 4 of us. Me, my best friend Leonard, his girlfriend Ashley, and our buddy Ezra. We were all in high school, just trying to enjoy our weekend. The park was pretty busy that day, lots of families were out, kids running around, and people walking their dogs. We found a nice spot under a big oak tree and started tossing a frisbee around. Everything was going great until we heard some commotion coming from the playground area. At first, we didn't pay much attention to it. Kids get into arguments all the time, right? But then we heard the woman's voice getting louder and angrier. Curiosity got the better of us, so we stopped our game to see what was going on. And that's when we saw her. A middle-aged woman with a speak to the manager haircut, yelling at a group of kids who looked to be in their early teens. From what we could gather, one of those kids had pushed her son out the slide or something. The woman was livid, her face all red as she shouted at them. Guys, maybe we should go over there and see if we can help calm things down. I say. Leonard answers, I don't know man, it looks pretty intense. We might just make things worse. Then Ashley adds, yeah, but what if those kids need help? That woman looks like she's about to explode. Then Ezra seals it with, alright, let's go check it out, but let's be careful, okay? We started walking towards the playground, but before we could get there, the group of older kids ran off. The woman was still yelling after them, but they were long gone. And that's when things took a really weird turn. The woman suddenly whipped around and locked eyes with us. I felt a chill run down my spine as she started marching towards our group, dragging a young boy, probably her son, behind her. You! Stop right there! We froze, not sure what was happening. As she got closer, I could see the fury in her eyes. She stopped right in front of us, pointing an accusing finger. How dare you bully my son? I saw what you did. Ma'am, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We just got here and… Don't lie to me. I saw you push him out the slide. But we weren't even at the playground. We were playing frisbee over there. The woman wasn't listening. She was shaking with anger, and her son looked absolutely mortified. Mom, it wasn't them. It was the older kids. They already left. Quiet, sweetie. Mommy is handling this. Please, ma'am. Your son is telling the truth. We didn't do anything. The woman's eyes narrowed, and that's when she did something that made my blood run cold. She reached into her purse and pulled out a gun. My heart nearly stopped as she pointed right at us. You think you can just pick on little kids and get away with it? Apologize to my son right now. Whoa. Put the gun down. We didn't do anything. Please, this is crazy. We're telling you the truth. The woman's hand was shaking, but she kept the gun trained on us. People around us started noticing what was happening, and some grabbed their kids and ran, while others stood frozen in shock. I am not putting this down until you apologize. You think you're so tough, bullying a little boy? Well, how tough are you now? Lady, you're making a huge mistake. Just listen to your son. Mom, please, stop. It wasn't them. I keep telling you. The woman ignored her son's pleas. She took a step closer, her finger twitching on a trigger. I've never been so terrified in my life. All I could think about was my family, my future, all the things I might never get to do if this crazy woman actually pulled the trigger. Okay, we're sorry. We're so sorry. Please just put the gun down. I looked at all my friends, silently begging them to play along. They got the message. Leonard says, yeah, we're really sorry. It won't happen again. Ashley says, we feel terrible. Please forgive us. And then Ezra seals it with, it was a stupid thing to do, and we're truly sorry. The woman seemed to relax a little, but she still kept the gun pointed at us. See? Was that so hard? Now get out of here before I change my mind about calling the police. We didn't need to be told twice. We backed away slowly, then turned and ran as fast as we could. Once we were a safe distance away, we stopped to catch our breath. What the hell just happened? I can't believe that woman pulled a gun on us. We need to call the police. Dude, Leonard, your dad's a deputy, right? Call him now. Leonard nodded, his hands shaking as he pulled out his phone. While he was talking to his dad, I kept an eye on the playground. The woman was still there, now hugging her son and acting like she hadn't just threatened 4 teenagers with a gun. Leonard's dad arrived at the park in record time, along with what seemed like half the police force. We told him everything that happened, and they immediately went to confront the woman. She tried to deny everything at first, but there were too many witnesses. When they searched her purse, they found the gun. The next few hours were exhausting. I've never seen my mom cry so much. Karen was arrested and taken away in a police car. In the end, Karen was charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated assault and endangering the welfare of minors. She ended up taking a plea deal and got sentenced to 5 years in prison, plus mandatory anger management and gun safety courses. As for us, we were pretty shaken up for a while. It took some time before we felt comfortable going back to the park. Anyways, I really hope I never run into another Karen like her again. Let me tell you about how I ended up pregnant with my husband's baby while he was still going through a divorce with his ex-wife. It all started when I met John. He was in the middle of divorcing his wife, Karen. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would I get involved with a man who wasn't even divorced yet? Well, sometimes the heart wants what it wants. And boy, did my heart want John. As we got closer, John opened up to me about his relationship with Karen. It was a mess to say the least. She had basically groomed him right out of high school. He had just turned 18, fresh out of graduation, while she was almost 24. The relationship had really messed him up over the years. One day, as we were cuddling on a couch, John told me more about their marriage. You know, the one thing Karen always wanted was kids, but I just couldn't give that to her. Why not? I asked. I don't know, maybe deep down I knew it wasn't right. We never managed to get pregnant, thank God. I nodded, understanding the weight of his word. Little did I know that fate had other plans for us. 3 months into our relationship, surprise, surprise, I found out I was pregnant. And let me tell you, it was a shock. I had an IUD and everything. We hadn't planned on having kids, but after the insane chances of getting pregnant the way we did, we decided it was meant to be. Meanwhile, Karen was still dragging out the divorce proceedings. She was making John's life hell, especially now that she knew he had moved on. Her own affair partner had left her by this point, which probably didn't help her mood. When I hit the 6 months mark in my pregnancy, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I knew about Karen's desperation for kids and how John had always said no. So on his next court date, I hatched a plan. I squeezed myself into the tightest bodycon dress I could comfortably wear, slipped on a pair of court-appropriate heels, and accompanied John to the courthouse. The look on Karen's face when she saw me, priceless. I swear, if looks could kill, I'd have dropped dead right there in the courthouse lobby. Karen asks, "What is she doing here?" "She is here to support me," John answers. "Support you?" "She's practically flaunting her pregnancy in my face." "Karen, please. This isn't the time or place for this." From that moment on, things started to unravel for Karen. The judge overseeing the case was clearly getting fed up with her antics. In one particularly memorable session, he finally lost his patience. "Lady, I've had enough of this behavior. Your constant delays and emotional outbursts are not helping your case." "But Your Honor, can't you see what they're doing? She is pregnant with his child. The child I always wanted." "Your ex-husband's current relationship is not relevant to these proceedings. The fact that you're having a tantrum over his new partner being present, while your own new partner is here as well, is frankly ridiculous." "But..." "No buts. We're proceeding with a division of assets. The family home will be sold and the proceeds split according to the agreement we discussed last week." I could see Karen deflate as the judge spoke. It was like watching a balloon slowly lose all its air. Part of me felt guilty knowing that my presence was causing her pain. But another part of me, the part that had listened to all the stories John had told me about the relationship, felt a sense of justice. As the weeks went by, I continued to attend the court dates with John. Each time, Karen's eyes would dart to my growing belly, a mix of pain and anger flashing across her face. I could tell it was driving her crazy, seeing the one thing she had always wanted John to give her growing inside me instead. During one of the final hearings, Karen finally snapped. "This isn't fair. He never wanted children with me and now he's having one with her. How could you do this to me, John?" "Karen, our relationship was over long before I met her. This has nothing to do with you." "Nothing to do with me? I wasted years of my life with you, waiting for you to want a family with me." Then a judge tells her, "I must remind you again that your ex-husband's current relationship is not relevant to these proceedings." "But Your Honor..." "Enough. If you cannot control yourself, I will have to ask you to leave the courtroom." As Karen's behavior became more erratic, it actually worked in our favor. The judge, clearly fed up with her antics, started to side more with John in their disputes. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Painful to watch, but impossible to look away from. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the divorce was finalized. The house was sold, the assets were divided, and John was free. As we left the courthouse for the last time, I felt relieved that it was over. I felt excited for our future together, but also a twinge of guilt for the pain I had caused Karen. John squeezed my hand and gave me a reassuring smile. You okay? Yeah, just feel a little bit bad. You know, for Karen. I understand. But remember, she made her choices. We didn't do anything wrong by falling in love and starting our own family. I know, but still. Seeing her face every time she looked at my belly, it was hard. I know, but we can't live our lives trying to avoid hurting others. Sometimes it happens, even when we don't mean for it to. As we walked to our car, I placed a hand on my swollen belly, feeling our baby kick. Despite the complicated circumstances that brought us here, I knew we were on the right path. John and I were building a life together, one that we both wanted and chose. In the months that followed, we welcomed our beautiful baby into the world. John and I got married in a small, intimate ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. And now here we are, happily married, with one more on the way. As for Karen, I hope she's found peace. I hope she's moved on and found happiness, just like we have. Because at the end of the day, that's all any of us really want, isn't it? To be happy, to be loved, and to build a life we've always dreamed of. And that's exactly what John and I are doing, one day at a time. When I was in college, I worked nights as a housekeeper in a local hospital. The hospital had a cafeteria that closed at 8 p.m. and a snack bar that only closed from midnight until 1 a.m. It was always a bear to clean, and the floors were the worst part. Once a week, some guy would come in and make the most amazing omelets. 10 times as many people came on omelet night, and I couldn't start cleaning up until they left at 12:30 a.m. This gave me only 30 minutes to clean. To help me out, one of the floor crew guys helped me stack the tables and chairs, quickly sweep up the mess on the floor with his enormous dust mop, and then he drove his riding floor cleaner, we called it the Zamboni, and the floors were done in 10 minutes. He didn't have to do this, and I was grateful every time he did that. 2 years later, he retired, and I got the job driving the Zamboni. I loved that job and was always ahead of schedule. Since that was the case, I decided to help out the new hire girl who was now in charge of the snack bar cleaning. We got along great, and I really felt like I was helping out. But boy was I wrong. I'm a large man, 6'2" and 250 pounds. I'm also a combat veteran, and despite being a big teddy bear, as my wife calls me, some people are intimidated by me. I got to work one evening and my boss called me into the office. It's the first time in 2.5 years that he ever had. He asked me about my relationship with a new girl who cleans the snack bar. I related how I was always grateful when my predecessor had helped me with it, so I tried to pass it along. I asked why, and she had filed a complaint against me for harassment. I was stunned. This lady, who was old enough to be my mother, said that I sought her out every night and forced her to talk to me for 50 minutes or more every night, and she feared for her safety. It was inconceivable to me. She never acted at all intimidated, and our conversations centered around our jobs, kids, and so on. Normal work talk. My manager advised me to stay away from her and not to speak with her again. That night was omelet night. I usually didn't get one because I was always cleaning up after them and didn't have the time. But tonight I was famished and ordered two. I sat there eating them with my trainer, who was a sweet old lady my grandma's age. I had of course bought her an omelet as well. We ate and got up just as the omelet guys were leaving. The place was a mess. On our way out, the new girl asked me when I would bring the Zamboni by to clean up the floor. I just kept walking as though she wasn't there. As I did, my trainer told her, "Oh, he's not allowed to do that for you anymore." And the new girl said, "But it's his job." And that's when my trainer let her know in the sweetest old grandma way that it had never been my job, but instead was just me trying to help her. Now, however, I was supposed to avoid speaking to her at all costs, so I would never be doing that again. I didn't stick around to watch her reaction, but my trainer said she almost cried when the trainer told her, "What did you expect when you threw a good young man under the bus?" I learned a couple of weeks later that she was after my spot on a floor crew and thought her accusations would get me fired. I ended up changing jobs 3 months later, and I heard through my friends that she tried to get my spot on the floor crew and made a big stink when she didn't get the job. She quit shortly after that. It still hurts my heart a little when I think that she would do that to a 23-year-old kid with a family. Thank God I had managers who trusted me.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.